Hello everybody, welcome. I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds here. We're live on Facebook. If you're watching it on YouTube, it takes a little time to get people into the room. And we'll go from there, okay? So hang in there for a second until we get some people in here. Whoops, there goes one of my knives. Let me get that off the floor. All right. Now, hello. We'll start here in a little bit. I'm going to start marking this. We're going to be doing the monkey today, and I need to just figure out where I'm going to put my lines and his ears and such. And 1 and 2. Hello, everybody. I'm here. I'm just marking my my carving. Okay, we're going to be doing the monkey today, and see how that goes. Let me see how much of it. Get some ways. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome back on this Tuesday night in Honeybrook, PA. It's been a beautiful, warm day today, for sure. So let's see here. Let's just measure this. I'm just doing some measurements right now on the monkey. I have the up to here. Let me get situated here a little better. Hello, Justin. All right. Got the ear there, and then we're going to ear there. Let's see, right here and here. All right. So you're going to have to pick out, this is the back portion of him right now. And let's see if I can just, so I'm going to just start here because this one's going to take a little longer to do. All right. He was definitely a little bit of a challenge. So we'll see. Hi, Jack and Jenny. Hello, Canada. All right. Anyway, so we have the ears marked off where I want the ears to be. So we're going to first order of business, actually, is I did the back side and where his ears are going to be on either side of this thing. So we're going to just go in here and we're just going to cut. Now you don't want to cut too far, undercut too far, because that's going to be part of his shoulder there. So we're just going to go in a little bit, cut it out. Same thing on the other side. Okay. And then we're going to do the top part. Same thing. Just like when we do ears on the, hello Randy and Jim. We're going to do the top of the ear here, so we know where his ears are going to be. Now I'm going to put some lines to figure out where his face is going to go here. So we're going to just round this off a little bit. We're going to just take some of that off, take a little bit of that off, and this one. Hello, Debbie. And okay, so the front. This is the back side, so let's just go ahead and put a little notch in the back. Just hang on for a second. I'm going to take my coat off. It's a little warmer in here than I like it to be. I think it was up to about 72 today. So let me take my hoodie off here. Better. So where's my V-tool? My V-tool's a very interesting one. So this is the back side of the head we're working on right now. Because the back side is definitely higher than the front side of his face. So if you need a good side view, there you go. Okay? So the first thing I did was I figured out where the ears are and the back side of the head. And then I'm going to just take this up this way and this way. I saw it was a little chilly up there in Canada today. We'll keep him in view there. All right, so now I'm going to look at the front here, and I'm going to measure this off here. Hang on. And right about there. Okay, so from the ears, we're going to just down and around. So this is going to come up a little bit like so. We're going to measure that a little bit here, the same distance for the front of his face here. Well, thank you, Sandy. I've been really busy sharpening tools. I got a different machine to do it. Not that I still don't do it by hand. I just got a different grinder that does a little better job and making it a little bit quicker for me. Then we're going to bring this down and around just like so. Alright, so we're going to just take that, because technically this is going to be up and around, and then his nose is going to come down and up and around. So hello Donna, hello David. So if we can figure this out a little bit more, I'm going to make sure the ears are exactly where they should be. This is really difficult when you do ears and making sure, see, this one looks a lot smaller than that one, so we're going to just chop that down just a little bit because you can't make it bigger. Okay, so we're just going to try to even it up a little bit. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to chop the bottom part. We're going to put a little V cut right there at the bottom. There we go. And again, yeah, so we're going to just kind of bring this up and around. Actually, I'm going to switch that a little bit. This is going to come out a little further out around. Alright, so I'm going to start bringing this down a little bit in the front. We're just going to start. Alright, now let me take a look at this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start scooping it out at the top here, where his face is going to be. I'm going to start rounding this off a little bit more at the top. Well, this is the only second time I've done a monkey, so I know a lot of people have not seen a lot of monkeys being carved at all. So yeah, be right back, folks. I just got to take care of something real quick. I'm here, it didn't stop or anything. Okay. I'm getting a little clumsy today. Alright, so let's see if we can keep going here. Okay. Now, we're going to keep cutting this out here. I nicked myself there, so I'm hoping I won't bleed all over the place here. It does happen. We're going to just round up his head a little bit. Now his head really is the complete size. The tool I'm using is the Rough Rider tool that I use, and then I use a 3.5 millimeter V tool. Okay, so let's see here. Let me bring this down and start bringing this in a little bit further. I'm going to start getting this a little bit underneath where his neck is. So I'm just going to bring this out a little bit on either side to make it a little bit deeper. There we go. And the same thing over here. We're just going to cut it And I'm going to undercut it first. And I'm going to chop some more of this off at the top. Okay, that's kind of the shape I want his head to be. Alright, see it? Okay, now we're going to bring his face around this way. Alright, and kind of just get his ears in here a little bit. And we'll work on that in a minute. I'm going to take my V-tool and I'm just going to kind of follow this line around. Okay, just like so. I'll do the same thing over here. I'll follow this line out around to the top. There we go. I'm going to probably bring this in a little further because I'm not too happy with it the way it is. So I'm going to be fussing with it a little bit and trying to make it a little bit more rounded here. Now when you carve, it is a good idea. I was using this knife all day to do the Santa that I did today. Some of you saw it. And we're going to take a little bit break. Next week we're going to do the Santa. Just something a little different. I'm getting a little burned out with Noah's Ark. We have 2 more after this to do anyway. Then the week after I might take a break because I get my second shot. That would be on the 5th of a Monday. I don't know how I'm going to feel after getting it from what I'm seeing some of my friends go through down here. So I think I'll just skip that night just to make sure I feel all right. So, and to give myself a little bit of a break as well. Now I'm cutting underneath here. Hello, Mexico. All right. Now we're going to I'm going to start rounding this up a little bit and pushing this further into his head. Okay, round this off a little bit as well. Now, normally I would take a lot more time to do this, but because we are in a time restraint, because you're here for about an hour or so, it can make it a little difficult to get it just perfect. I'm also, to let you know, I also plan to, okay, that's, yeah, close enough. Alright, so let's bring this in just a tiny bit more. I'm going to bring his head in just a little bit more here. We're just going to trim this out just a tiny bit. Alright. So, the thing I have another knife that's similar to this. It's called the Whittler. It's a little smaller. Now this is nice if you have a bigger hand. These are nice. The Whittler is just a bit tinier. It's the size of my old knives, and I found them. They're a little more expensive to buy than what that is. Let me show you what it is here. It would be roughly this size. In fact, I'll show you in a second. Let me keep going here what that would be. But I'm going to have 2 different size pocket knives that you can purchase. I'm going to stick with this one for a while. Just bought another 30 of these. I got 32 of them done and sold. And people seem to like them, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, that's good. Now I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. There we go. And right here we're going to cut this out just a tiny bit more. I'm going to bring this up like so. We're going to cut that underneath the ear there. Just bring this in a little bit. There we go. I got to hone this knife up because I was working on it today. But the next thing we need to do is figure out his face a little bit more. So right here, I actually did a little indentation for his hair to come out and around. So I'm going to try to figure out where the middle is. Right here, you can go by the corner. Go up here and make a little line. Okay. Then I'm going to try to bring this out and around. Like so. Now his face does come out a little bit here. It's kind of hard to see that with the brown paint. But if we bring this out and around, and then we have this portion here as well. So this is going to go in like so. So it's kind of a heart shape. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. Again, it's very difficult to get things to look roughly the same on each side. So take your time. If it takes you a few times to get it right, that's okay. Nobody's telling you it's got to be a certain way. All right. And then his nose, let's do this portion of it. Let's just bring this down and around. That's his face. Okay. We're going to bring that. Let me take a look at it. Okay. So let's just bring this up and around. This up and around. And then his nose, if you take a look at it. Hello, Jerry and Bill. His nose is going to be a little bit lower than where you put this one line going around. Actually, that line should not be like that. It should come up like so. A little bit. The opposite way. Okay? Because his eyes will come through here. I'm going to go up and around. And this is going to be his eye. Because his eye is completely around. See? Just like when we do our hello Lisa. When we do the eyes, it's similar to what we do with the Santas. We go up around the nose. Remember, we take the nose. Now the nose goes up a little bit, just like so. So it takes a lot of drawing on here, but once you get it on here, then we can start. This is going to come down and around. All right. So I'm trying to make it even, and it doesn't look even at all to me. He looks a little crooked, but I really took my time when I did that, the first one. So you notice it's a little smaller here, and it's brought in a little bit. It's receded in a little bit there. So let me just bring this up and around here. This knife is not the best. I mean, this, let's see if I have another, let's see if I can find another one here. See, this little one draws a little bit better. Yeah, it does. So, let me see if we can get that up and around. Okay, that looks pretty good. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is where we're going to stop drawing. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do with the nose, I'm going to just do a little V cut right there. Alright, we don't want to go too crazy, but we definitely want it to come down a little bit. Alright, then we're going to scoop this out a little bit more. Well, we can do that after we put, well, actually we should do that now. I'm going to switch to the other side of the knife. This side, it needs to be rehoned, so, and I didn't really sharpen it up at all since I had done the other side. There we go. There we go. 1, 2. Let's just redo that a little bit, because I want that to go in. Let's bring this in a little more. And notice I'm going around a little bit here. And I want that to kind of pop out a little bit. So, we'll draw that back one. I should have done this first. Sorry. Okay, So let's bring this up and around. This up and around. The first thing I'm going to do is this outer part. We're going to take our little V tool and we're going to just follow this out and around. Alright, just out and around a little bit. You don't want to go too deep, you don't want to go too crazy with it, but just kind of do a very small. Okay. And same thing over here. We're going to follow this out with a little V tool. Right to that point. Now, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to bring this down and around right over here. We're going to bring that down, and bring that down there. And let me just keep going here because I. We'll figure this all out when we get all right. Now, I'm going to bring this down a little bit more with my knife since I have the lines already there, and we're going to just bring this in a little bit. Trim that out. This is going to probably take you the longest to do this face. I'm going to follow that out. Get a cleaner cut with the V tool here. Just go a little bit deeper with the V tool. Be okay. I like to take my time with the V tool because sometimes you can make it too wide and you don't want to do that. So right here we're going to cut this in a little bit more. And we're going to just cut in a little bit right there. Because you really want that to pop out a little bit more right there, okay? Just like so. I'm going to take it back here because I can't see it there, so let me just redo this a little bit more. I'm going to grab another V tool because that V tool I did the little, there we go. That's better. I did that Santa hat with it, and it's always important to come back home and hone everything back up, and of course I didn't do that right away. So nothing else new around here in Pennsylvania. Things seem to be getting a little better. They say not, but I think people are starting to go out a little bit more. See, I'm trying to shape that so it looks like it's going underneath that mouth portion. There you go. And round this up a little bit more. We're going to just cut this out right here. In fact, we're going to bring this down a little bit more. Okay, right like so, and then I'm going to bring it up like this. We're going to cut that out. Up like so, and we're going to cut that side out. Now I'm going to do the eyes real quick, and then I'll keep working on the face here. Now these eyes are going to be perfectly, well, not perfectly round. They're about the same as you do with the Santa, but let me just get that done first with the V tool. Okay. Now this here, you take your knife and you're going to really dig in there, just like you do with the Santa face. You know, when you put the eyes in, we're going to just scoop this portion out. It definitely has to come out. See? See the difference? Doesn't take long to make something look just right. So, let's do the other side. Some of you have been sending me pictures of what you've done. And some of you have only started carving since January and February. Boy, I'll tell you, you guys really are doing a wonderful job. It is truly amazing. It's very nice of you to take the time to send that to me. There we go. Now we're going to go a little deeper next to the face here. Just a little bit. We're going to just have that come down a little bit more. Okay, we're going to do the face itself needs to come down a little bit more. We're going to trim that out a little deeper. Bring this in a little bit more. There we go. That's what I want it to do. And then up here too, we're going to kind of, and this can take a long time to round everything off correctly. But you guys really are doing a fantastic job with your pieces of Noah's Ark. Some of you did the cat. Some of you did a bunch of different ones that we've been doing all along. It's very interesting. Let me take a look at it back here for a second. Hello, Lori. I'm working on the monkey. So let's round his head a little bit more. There we go. Some of you are still waiting for your knives. You're on the list, so if you got on the list once, you don't need to do it twice. I have it written down here. I won't forget you. All right, so we're going to cut. This has to be cut a little deeper. Right, see that? So make this a little deeper. Over here, and bring this down around. So, guys had me hopping the last few weeks, I'll tell you. Oh, the interesting thing that's happened is I have a new shipping method here. It took me a while to figure it out, and I'm still in the process of learning the system that I got. But you'll get an email with a tracking number no matter what I send you, for the most part, unless there's some reason I can't send it to you. I'm going to cut that out right there. And that's been really nice to be able to track the stuff. I wasn't able to do that before with just putting the stamps on it. So I went to an online shipping thing, and it seemed to work really well. So, okay. So now what I want to do now is I want to bring this down a little bit because their noses are kind of flat. And we're just going to bring this down a little bit more. And of course I don't have the right tool here, do I? I just may. Of course not. Okay. Well, anyway, what we're going to do here is we're going to keep doing the ear, so we're going to bring this back a little bit more. And we're going to chop that out. Same thing over here, we're going to bring the ear back a little bit more. It still doesn't look right with this eye, so I'm going to go back and recut it one more time. I'm going to just bring it down a little flatter. There we go. Alright. Now we're going to put the eye in itself. We'll see if we can get the face done. Let me try something else first. Let's bring this down a little bit further. We're going to bring this down. Bring this up. Round it up. Take all that rough stuff off. There's not a lot to do with the V tool. There's no, let me take a look at what I'm doing here. I've only done this one a couple of times. Well, this is only my second time to do one of these, so if it's taking me a little longer, that's why, because I keep wondering what I need to remove. And it's not like the Santas that I've done them a few hundred times. I don't do animals that often, and it takes me a little longer. But going back to the shipping, that should be a nice little feature, and you'll get a notification when it was dropped off to your place as well. I know the mail has been so unpredictable lately that I had to do something a little bit different, and that's what I came up with. It took me all week to figure that out, a good portion of the week to figure that out, but I think that will work just fine. And I've been real pleased with. It's a little faster on my end. It takes a while to package things up and put it out the door. So let's see, that looks pretty good. So now, thank you. We're going to put his eye in. So his eye is more rounded, so we're going to just do a little nice little round thing like that. And let's see if I can just bring this down a little bit more. For some reason this side is so different. I always have a hard time. And it doesn't always, if you're a beginner, I want to share something with you real quick. If something doesn't work out the first time, don't fret about it. One of the stories I had, a friend of mine collected snowmen. You'd think I could do a snowman. It took me a couple of years to figure out how to do a snowman. And you would think it's just a couple of round balls and all that. Yes, it is. But it took me, it was an aha moment. And you're going to have a lot of those moments when you carve. You definitely will notice. Let me bring this down a little bit more. Okay, there you go. Now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to spray it, because if you spray it, it makes it a little easier. So say if you're working on something and it doesn't work out, because I've done a snowman before and it didn't work out at all, and I just let it sit, and then I did some other things. So don't let it discourage you. Some things are easier to do for some people than others. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries to get something right. Just because you can't get it the first time doesn't mean you can't try it later. Okay, now Marvin wants out, the cat. He's going to have to wait. I guess he can't see that I'm busy here. So you're cutting from the inside of the eye. Okay, you're not cutting from the outside yet. You will in a minute here, but I'm trying to make it a nice and round as I possibly can. And so, you know, if you're working on a project and it doesn't turn out right, you know, sometimes it takes a couple of times to get it just the way you like it. Okay, there's one eye. And now we're going to do the other eye. So I'm going to just follow that line. No, the cat does not care what I'm doing. If he wants in and out, that's when he wants in and out. Okay, so that's a little deep there for its eye, but that's okay. I'm going to bring this out and around. Kind of like it a little deep like that. Let me do this side and see if I can do the same thing. Just chop a little more of its eyeball out. Yeah, they always want something from you when you're busy with something. Okay, so there's the eyes of the monkey. He looks like a mean monkey, but anyway, yeah, when you start painting it up, it will look a lot better. Now his nose has a little, I usually use my little gouge. Let me go get it. It's over on the other room. I didn't bring it along. So, it's not frozen or anything. I'll be right back. It's in the back here. Let me go get it. I'm on my way back. And like most people, things are getting much more busier outside. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go on either side of this, and I'm using a small little gouge here, the smallest one I have, and I'm just going to kind of knock out a little nostril on either side, just very carefully. Now you can rock it back and forth a little bit, and there you go. There's the nostril. Now you can go back and make it a little bit deeper if you want, or a little bit wider. I think I'll make mine a little wider. And then I'll take, if it doesn't come out free, just take your point of your knife to go up and pick his nose out. Come on. Let's get that out of there. Okay. So I'm going to just bring this down a little bit. So that's roughly how that's done. Alright. Still seems a little rough there. Okay, so that's pretty well the face. And then, of course, the last part of his face. We have his ears to do yet. I just take the V-tool and I make a little smiley face. There he is. Now when you go to paint this, they'll always look a little more different than once you do it this way. I'm going to just cut that a little bit more there. I'll have to fuss with that. Okay, let's do the ears. The ears aren't that difficult to do. So it's the same thing as when we do ears on a, I should have made them a little bit bigger, but we're going to just do a little C, like the letter, backward letter C. There. Okay, just like so. We're going to just follow that out with the V-tool a little bit, just to give us an idea where to go here. So, yeah, a lot of new things happening this week. Finally getting the lift fixed. I'm still hoping to get that done. We're going to round his ear just a tiny bit more. I'm going to cut right underneath there, where his arms are going to come out of. And that will make that pop out a little bit better. Right underneath here. Just right there and right there. I just want to pop that out. There we go. Okay. And I'm just going to round it so that's going to be his shoulders there. Alright. So that's pretty well his face. Back here, you're going to bring his head back a little bit more. And we're going to just cut a little more of this out. And we're just going to round it off a little bit. Just kind of blend it in. Just so. To the front. Just like so. Alright. Now we'll flip around and do the other side. We're just going to trim a little bit off the back of the ear here. Straight into the head. And we're going to chop a little bit off there as well, and then we're going to blend that together. So you're not going to touch anything up here, you're just going to kind of round it off from the top to the bottom a little bit. There we go. Now we want it to go under the ear a little bit, so we're going to kind of chop this portion over here, okay, and same thing over here. We have 2 animals to go yet. All we have to do yet for this project to finish it up is the zebra and the dove. And I'll show those to you later on. I need to paint the zebra. I did that one a couple of times until I was happy with what I saw. So, I'm getting rid of all this rough stuff here on him. And we'll start on his body, but we still have his ears to do here, so what we're going to do is I'm going to try to flatten it out a little bit. There we go. Again, I take my little tool, whoops, my little 3mm tool, and I'm just going to do both sides, just wiggle it in there a little bit, and then we're going to take the knife, and I hope I didn't chop that off. Oh, I did. That's one thing you don't want to do. Let me make another hole here. And you want to go in pretty far with your knife, you know, if you can't free it up. Then go back and try to scoop it out again. There we go. I'm having a heck of a time with this ear. Why? Let's just use a knife. Sometimes that works. There we go. There's his 2 ears, and then I take the V-tool and I just make a little line going across. So you have to make sure your V-tool is very sharp. I'm going to just spray it a little bit. And take your little V-tool, and you're just going to do in between the outside and the inside, you're just going to mark it a little bit, just like so. Alright, and you're just going to follow that around. Go. There's one ear. We'll do the other ear. Alright, there you go. So that's pretty well the face. Alright, so I'm going to, of course, I'm going to get offline. I'm going to fuss with it for a while until I have it a little more rounded, a little bit more cleaned up. Now the body itself isn't too difficult. The tail on the back, it's pretty simple. Since I didn't want it wrapping in front of him, I decided to just make a little swirly line. So I'm just taking it from the bottom here, and we're just going to go up this way, and then put a little loop, and then bring it back around like so. It's not a huge deal. And then this right there. And you can do that with the V tool. Now, let's look at the front here. We're going to take the arms are going to come down and around. So I thought it was kind of cute to have them folding over each other. So you're really only going to see one hand instead of two. And so this will come out like so. Yeah, just have it down like so. And then the other hand's going to come underneath. The feet are pretty simple. He just has two little feet sticking out over here, so we're just going to put a little notch there, and I'm going to measure it with my finger as we do. I really didn't think we were going to have online classes as long as we have already, over a year. It really is something. Okay, so let's start with the arms. The first thing we're going to do, like all the rest, we're going to, oh, and it goes up around to the back end. So let's just bring this up like so. All right, so we have his shoulder, and then this one's going to come up and around. His shoulder. Hello. Hello, Rich. Hello, Beth. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to go straight in, a little bit at an angle. We want to just knock that out. All right. And we're going to do the same thing over on this side. It's roughly the same. Hello, Christine. All right. So, back to the V tool. We're going to follow that line for the hand. We're just going to come down and around. And I know it comes out around this way. Let's get that. Let's see. And over here this way. And that way. There we go. And then the other one's going to come underneath it. Just like so. Alright. Oh, we got to do the little feet. So we're going to follow that out with the Oh, I'm glad you like it, Rich. I hope it serves you well for a long time. I was just telling people I might have a different size knife, a little smaller for sometimes for some people this is just a perfect size, and I'll show that to you at the end, what the other knife will look like. That's really what I used all my life, the other ones, but I really like how this feels in my hand. Yeah, I've had a lot of good responses from it, so. Alright, so there we go. We're going to follow this out a little bit. And let's bring this up and around. It's nice to have a knife you can fold and take with you to carve. That's the ticket for a lot of people. Yeah, it protects the blade as well. So, alright, so right here I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to bring this down, and this is going to come on the other side, okay? On the other side of him, we're going to turn him around, and we're going to do this little foot on each corner. So it's not a big deal. All you need to do is take this and go straight across like so. Just a little, just a little bit of a heel there. Alright, that's all you're going to do. Alright, so we're going to follow that out with the tool a little bit. And we're going to follow this out a little bit. We're going to chop this out. We're going to round off his shoulders a little bit so they look a little more round. Okay, just like so. Hang on just a second. Cocoa break. Alright. Thank you. We're going to bring this. Let me take a look at how we did this. So this is going to come up and around. Alright. And I'm going to switch a knife. Okay. And we're going to now this is going to be turned around a little bit. Going to cut the foot in a little bit because you're going to put little toes in him, so it's going to go in a little bit here. I'm going to use one of my other knives because the other ones are getting a little dull, and there's one knife I always love, is this flat one. And this is the smaller handle, so it's a little, feels different after working with a large one for a while. But alright, so let's bring this up a little bit, and we'll chop that out and that out. There we go. This we're going to bring in a little bit, and we're going to chop this out. And we're going to kind of follow that tail up a little bit where we drew it. Alright, and we're going to take our V tool, and we're going to follow that line. So we're going to go from the top here, and we're going to just follow that line out. Alright, and then it comes up and around. Now you can make the tail as long as you want, that's totally up to you. And then we're going to bring this up and around. I'm just moving my piece more than I am moving the, actually, yes. Okay, and then we're going to bring this up and around this way. Alright, and this way. Felt good to sit and carve for a while. I haven't done that. Been too busy doing other things. Been working outside trying to get things set and ready. And once my lift is ready, I'll start doing some major things around here at the farm. But I'm digging this out a little bit because, you know, his body is not sticking out that far. So we got to bring this down a little bit. And we're going to round his tail up, just like so. Alright. And you can bring this down too. You can go around here, cut this out a little bit more as well. And there we go. And I'm going to follow that tail out a little bit more. Just bring this down a little bit. Alright, so you get the idea. You'll have to fuss with that on your own a little bit. I'm not going to take the time here to do all that because it's just going to take too much time to do it. Alright, so we're going to bring this up and around. We're going to chop this out a little bit. There we go. We're getting there. A little bit more to go. And then there I've got a lot of cleanup on offline. Really. Alright, so any questions, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer as we go. I'm going to use the other knife again because it's a little longer reach, which is nice. There we go. And that's the nice thing about the longer ones. You can reach and take off those rough spots. Wow. I know in Canada, where my sister is, in that area, they were supposed to get some snow, or at least some flurries. 3 inches. Wow. Well, it's nice in the 70s today, and tomorrow it's supposed to be, I think, in the 50s or so. Let's see how I have that. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm not going to fuss too much here anymore. I'll do a lot of this when we get offline here, and to make it blend in a little better. But his hands and feet are really simple to do. There's not a whole lot more to do here. All I do is take the V tool and I put a couple little of I usually put 3 in. So let's just 1, 2, 3. All right, and then all I did was I painted the difference. I didn't make an indentation or anything right here. So I painted that differently. Now the toes, very simple. I still have to round this off a little bit more over here. Bring this down a little bit. The cat's scratching at the door. I will get there. Wow, 4 to 6. Thank you, Lee. I know a lot of people enjoyed the monkey. I was surprised how many people commented when I first put it out. I've never had so many comments on a piece as this one, which really surprised me. But to be honest with you, I haven't seen a lot of monkeys being carved. Not many at all. So I'm going to be fussing with the rest of this. Let me finish off and the tail too. You just want to kind of round off the tail. You know, when you're done here, you know, you just want to make sure you round it off. You take these hard edges off a little bit, and kind of have that tail pop out a little bit. All right, so to do his little toes, it's pretty darn simple. Again, 3 little markings. I usually put 1 in the center. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And that's our monkey. All right, I know it looks a little different, but I'll work on them a little bit and thin them out a little bit here and there as we get offline. But he's not real difficult to do. It's getting that face right. You know, I took a lot of time to look at a drawing of it. So next week, let me get back here for a second. I'll show you the other knife that I want to show you guys here. Hang on. Yeah, I mowed this past week as well and did all the roundup this week. Hate using this stuff, but I don't have much of a choice. I'm going to be getting 5 of these extra. I'll show you the difference here. It's the same color as the other knife, and I thought that was pretty cool to be able to have 2 different size knives. See the difference in the size and the handle? Okay. See how much smaller this is? This is the ones I used to get all the time. This is the newer one that is a little bit larger. But I'll show you the blades are a little shorter. This is actually called the whittler. And I used to grind these down to a smaller version. See, this is the same one that I was using. All right, so, but I won't grind it down. If I grind this down, it's going to be down to here or so. And I won't do the long blade. I'll do a pen knife, and I'm going to experiment a little bit with it. This is knife. This is what I'm going to order, and you can see definitely the difference in the size of the knife. All right, so I'll come up with a price on this one. I only have 5 of these. I don't have many coming in. It's more this one I think is probably the most popular right now. So anyway, so I'll let you know how this one works out once I get those going. But I'm going to finish up with my orders on this one here, and it's kind of neat that they're the same. They're the same pattern and stuff, and roughly the same color as well, if you can see that. So, but anyway, that is our little monkey. I have plenty of lumber. I got another little lumber that came in this past week. So if you want to order any of the for the Nativity or Noah's Ark, I have plenty. Also for the critters, we're going to do a critter for 4th of July and Memorial Day. And I'm looking at the cat. He definitely wants to get out. So, you know, if there's anything that you need, just go to my online store and you'll find it there. Later on, once I fill all the orders of people that requested these, I will put them online as I have them. Okay, but it's going to be a while. Like I did 32 of these, I have another 35 coming in. So, and I have 20 here that I can still do. And I do 5 or 6 a day. That's where I'm trying to catch up as soon as I can with people that ordered. All right, folks, thank you so much. Have a great night, and thanks for joining me again here on the Carver's Woodshop. This will be on YouTube very shortly after we get offline. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message or an email. All right, guys, thanks, and God bless. Bye-bye.